What's cracking, people? It's your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, representing high level technicians operating globally and beyond. So, listen, today I wanted to cover a topic that I felt was interesting and important. Now, over at the Hot House, aka the Patreon side of things, I regularly discuss to a greater degree uh, those topics that give an alternative view or an alternative perspective to traditional male-female dynamics regarding the space of energy exchange or even going into the relationship category. As I always say, I'm not a dating coach. I'm not a relationship expert. However, I've experienced a number of relationships, including marriage. So I do have perspective and experience regarding relationships. But my area of focus is primarily in the area of sensual and social seduction. Okay? So, for this particular topic today that I wanted to discuss, I want to start by giving a basic definition, not necessarily a textbook definition, but a summary of what I've observed and my experiences regarding how a definition of love can be given. So when you ask, what is love? Um, that is going to take place more in depth in another podcast, but for the sake of its use in this podcast, love is an energetic common space of emotional bonding that facilitates the navigation of a couple or collective relationship path. Okay? So, for the basis of this particular podcast, keep that definition of love in mind. Now, there's much talk about imprinting in the select manosphere, thanks largely to the field master Ron Wills. Now, the concept is basically that a woman or a man are given the foundational structure of attraction for a physical, emotional, social, and spiritual quote unquote type of lover within the first three sexual encounters or full on sexual episodes of their lives. Now, for select men or men on the road to being select, we understand that while a person's imprint exists as deep as the subconscious level, a person can become re-imprinted by a superior operative and thus pattern their quote-unquote type based on the attributes of the new superior person. The way in which the re-imprinted person will express their connection for the superior person is via love patterns. Gentlemen, as someone who is going about his business of building your self space, curating your environment, and ultimately shaping your world, it's understandable that you simply may not have the energetic, emotional, or provisional bandwidth to sustain a comprehensive love relationship with the potential queen bee in training on your roster. Now, my journeyman and technician level operatives know what I mean when I say the queen bee in training. In any case, here are three things you must not do in order to avoid making a woman fall in love. And for all of those who are thinking, well, clearly you must be insane, that's obviously the goal of the majority of men. Well, think about this. The majority of men aren't on this path towards personal growth, evolution, and ultimately being in full command of their path. Now, again, I'm not saying that experiencing love, experiencing monogamous love, poly love, however you choose to express it, isn't a good thing. It can actually be an enhancement to your path, an enhancement to your journey. But as with everything in the select manosphere, it has its place. And if it doesn't bring you the value that you need in order to accomplish your path, then it's simply is a hindrance that you can do without. I'm actually going to link a video that was pretty interesting. I think it speaks to this point, by Kevin O'Leary of the Shark Tank. And in this video, he goes into this example of an entrepreneur that came to one of his workshops that had that specific dilemma when he was at the brink of exploding his business and fulfilling his vision. He had to choose between the quote unquote love of his life and breaking this innovation through to the major market. And I think there was an interesting point that was made in that particular video. But without further ado, I am going to go over the 3 things that you must not do if you want to avoid making a woman fall in love with you. Now, I know that usually at this point, that's when I, post a sign. To view the rest of this story or to hear the rest of the story, head over to the Patreon side, Hot House, blah, blah, blah. I figured in this case, let's just go through the entire thing over here, give you a little taste of what goes on in the Hot House here on the YouTube side. Number 1, do not make contracts with women who have rank on your roster. Now, what does that mean? Well, remember those who are in established, committed relationships. Those people, whether they know it or not, have a 3-level contract that binds their relationship together. And that 3-level contract, it consists of the social contract, the emotional contract, and the physical contract. In fact, those are the 3 ways in which someone can cheat within the framing of their relationship under the context of the modern Western system of mating structures. Keep that in mind. Social, emotional, and physical. Those are the 3 levels of the contracts that most people in committed monogamous relationships within the Western society come under. Do not establish any of that unless you want the woman who has rank within your structure to fall in love. Number 2, do not agree to any contracts. All right, this one is a little bit more in depth, gentlemen, so pay attention. Now, women are fabulous organisms capable of wondrous things on many levels. One of their superpowers is their ability to cast spells. And yes, that will definitely be another podcast, all right? But in any case, gentlemen, imagine this, okay? The temps outside have cooled down. The leaves are turning colors. Everyone's going inside for their entertainment and good time. It's late. You've just finished the 2nd round. She's rubbing your back while you allow yourself to reflect on that platinum pussy pop that she just put on you. That's when the experienced woman starts to speak little nothings into the air around your ear in an effort to get your subconscious to agree to whatever contracts she'd like. Stay woke, gentlemen. And number 3, do not, I repeat, do not program her with sex. All right, I'm going to leave the link to my Levels of the D podcast. But gentlemen, under no circumstances are you to administer the Demon D. Okay, do not administer the Daddy D. Hell, barely give some women the Diamond D. All right, let's just bottom line it here. Mostly administer the Drake D. Okay, that's a safe balance that'll bring most women to a climax, but it won't push them to the programmer level. All right, the programmer level is where all of this takes place, gives you the leverage and the power, and it makes her a psycho who's ready to slash her tires and break your windows out. But again, another podcast for another day. But at the end of the day, gentlemen, keep these points in mind. And as always, this is your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, saying stay sharp and mission focused. Later.